First of all, yes, you fucking are allowed to slay, to gag, to everything. But actually, this is a problem that I see in a lot of spiritual and esoteric disciplines. And no, I don't mean that they don't serve enough. I mean that there are a lot of rules, what you are allowed to do and what you are not allowed to do. A lot of people who have seen the previous Wings Club video have probably noticed that, well, I'm a monk, or at least that I have a lot of things to do with spiritual traditions. So yeah, I'm actually a monk, but not like a Catholic Christian monk. I am a Zen monk, and I am a Zen monk in a really modern Zen lineage that is located in Germany. The thing with a lot of traditional spiritual practices is that you are, for example, not allowed to be in a relationship, you're not allowed to have sex, so you live in celibacy, or in some lineages you're not allowed to eat certain things, which kind of makes sense to keep you focused on your spiritual path. But still, if you live like in the modern world and maybe want to start a family or have a relationship or like just continue to live your life but still want to come in contact with this non-dualistic teachings, you got a big problem. It was something I myself could have never imagined. But the thing is, I got really lucky. So like 5 years ago, when I started to search for spiritual answers for this whole mess we call life, as I said, I got in contact with a really modern approach to spirituality. I was living in a Zen monastery for more than 2 years, and I was just allowed to wear dark clothes for most of the time because it's not that distracting when you're meditating. I had to follow a lot of rules, like when I have to meditate, how long I have to meditate, and practice Zen in doing like just ordinary stuff like working, which was fine. And it was also really important because it is still a spiritual practice and it is there to focus your mind, to train your mind. And that is what almost every non-dualistic teaching is about. It doesn't matter if you're practicing Zen, if you're practicing Tibetan Buddhism, if you're practicing the Course in Miracles. It's always about training your mind in some kind of way. The thing I got lucky at was that my Zen master, which name I will not say because, well, this I'm saying in the introduction of this video. So my Zen master is married himself, and he always said to us, even though if we chose to really become monks or nuns, like to really deepen the spiritual practice, we are allowed to marry, we are allowed to have sex, and we are allowed to basically do all the normal things. The only thing that changes is that we ourselves make our decision to go this path in a deeper way. And when I moved there, I also never imagined that I will stay there for more than 2 years, but I did. And even after I moved out, I still go there all of the times to lead retreats and help people to get in touch with themselves. But I was really scared that this could probably mean that I have to give up a lot of things. So if you have seen the previous videos, you know that I love a lot of the fantasy stuff.
Is that really you? Yes, sweetie. I must say you've grown up beautifully. Thanks. It's so great to see you. It's amazing.
I love all those stories. I love pop culture. And I never wanted to let go of all of this. I mean, of course, I wanted to let go of things that are not good for me, but never like things that really mean something to me. Also, there was this thing with, you know, being a little... I was like, okay, is this even allowed here? And my Zen master is actually a really big fan of the both. So I did not have to be scared about those things or discrimination and stuff like that. Also, our Zen master always told us if we just ignore normal human needs, like having a relationship with other people and even have sex, that you are ignoring certain aspects of yourself. So if you want to be enlightened, you have to turn around everything that is buried inside of you. And if you just ignore such a big part of yourself, basic human things, then you just ignore attachments and entanglements inside of you and just bury them deep inside of you. And we all know what happens to things when we bury them too deep inside of us. Unfortunately, we have seen this manifest in horrible ways in different churches, in different spiritual practices. I think I don't even need to say more about that because everybody saw news about that stuff. Unfortunately, abuse happens in almost every religion and in every spiritual path. Still, I got a feeling that it happens more in like paths where you are not allowed to live out your sexuality. As I said, it is a normal human thing to do that. And still, I want to say that celibacy is sometimes a really good thing. you can see how you react as a person if maybe you compensate stuff with sex or with relationship with other people, and how is it if you don't do that? And of course, there are some masters who are so advanced that they simply don't need sex anymore. Also, I think it is kind of connected to your age, but that's a topic for itself. And for some people, it's just simply a decision that works for themselves. There are, for example, a lot of cool nuns who decided that sex is just not for them.
But our life is full of adventure and it's constant, and you don't know what the next moment's gonna bring.
But I also got a theory that it's easier for women to do that, but again, other topic. So I was really happy that I was allowed to learn from a Zen master who saw things like that, because if you want to clock the thesis, sometimes you still can. I'm gonna get so cancelled because of this. No, but I really mean this like in a really serious way. But still, like, having fun and all of that is also part of life.
The whole hallway smells like cum.
Like, be normal. That's a thing a lot of people forget. If you're going a spiritual path, and even if you become a monk, you're not like this holy being, always just guiding people to the right path, whatever that is. Like, I'm also doing this, but in a more modern way, and in a way that maybe some people can even understand it a little bit better. Like, why would some fag care about sitting silently for 25 minutes and train their consciousness? Like, maybe if another fag would tell them, like, hey, you can improve your life with this and maybe get a better sense about your own life and what you want to do in life, then maybe this is also guiding people in the right direction, but just in a nice, better way. Still, some people could think that with this I'm trying to say that you can just do whatever you want. I'm not saying that. If we take Zen as an example, it's not just about experiencing pure freedom. It's about awareness, it's about compassion, and it's about realizing what the consequences of your actions are. There are even 5 well-known precepts in Zen Buddhism, which are kind of like guidelines for voluntary self-discipline that help cultivate spiritual growth. In many ways, they are really similar to the 10 commandments that a lot of people know from the Bibles. So these include refraining from killing and causing harm to living beings, refraining from stealing or taking what is not freely given, refraining from false speech such as lying or deceiving others, and refraining from intoxicants that cloud the mind and reduce mindfulness. And one of the most important things for me, especially in this modern time, is refraining from sexual misconduct, which means to not harm anybody in sexual relationships, and also be mindful what consequences this could have, especially in a time where we are really open and liberate with our sexuality. Jesus, English is so hard. It is a big practice to not hurt anybody in a sexual relationship. Like, that's the thing with, for example, celibacy. How are you able to train those things and see what problems you got with this topic, what entanglements you got with that, if you don't do it? Like, of course you can just put this out of your own life, but how would you see all the unconscious guilt that maybe is inside of you? How do you get in contact with that? You know where I'm going with this? The path is always to find the middle way, and the middle way can look different from person to person. And especially social relationships are so hard. Like, I don't need to tell that to anybody. Like, let's not even talk about romantic relationship. Even friendships and stuff with the family is hard enough. But it's the best way to grow, because you are always in contact with your inner entanglements. And one point I want to add is there is this one big thing with sin, like that we are sinners, that a woman is sinful if she does that, a man is sinful if he doesn't do that. Like, it's so many concepts how we have to be and how we are not allowed to be. This whole guilt trip is some leftover of centuries of hating our own body and our own consciousness and just focusing on like the intellect part of ourselves. And did it make anybody happy? Not really. And also, if you break all those great teachings down, it's always about love. And I'm not talking about love to a certain person or love to a certain object or animal or anything. I'm talking about love without an object, like pure love, what everything is made of, the only real thing in this universe.
The mind of love can do everything. And if you have that source of strength in you, the mind of love, you are a Buddha in action.
And if there's love, there is no fear, there is no shame, and there is no sin. Which, again, it does not mean that you can just go around and fuck and kill everybody. That's not what I'm saying. But we are not sinful beings, even though a lot of people will probably disagree with me. But that's how I see the things. And come closer to me. This is really important. Spirituality did not teach me to not be myself. It taught me who I really am, without all those ideas that I and we all have learned how we should be and how we should behave and who we are supposed to be. So are you allowed to serve cunt as a monk? Yes, you are allowed to serve cunt as a monk. But the real question is, can you serve cunt without turning it into another identity of yourself? An identity that you try to hide behind. To hide behind? You know what I mean. Like, we know that there's a big problem, like that people hide behind identities. So can you serve without doing that?
Both.
And that's the funny thing. Zen is not just coming for the holy monk and that illusion. It's also coming for you serving This is going to be amazing when I cut it. But yeah, if you are lucky, it will come for both. And if you are lucky, there are maybe no illusions left anymore. So you can still clock the T-sis and gag the wig. Yeah, so I hope I could explain to you this wonderful, amazing point that I was thinking about the last days. If you want to learn more about spirituality or Zen or any other thing I was talking about, I would love to discuss it with you in the comments or do another video about it, depending on if even anybody wants to hear this. Bye.